Okay.
I do love that we have matching glasses now. This was not at all
I
planned.
think I think that this is it from now on.
It's not even sunny in there. It's actually sunny here.
Well,
Um,
it's evening. It's no there is no light outside anymore.
was there any light to
Uh,
begin with in the morning? I feel like in London there's no light.
it was sunny today,
That's true.
and I was not wearing sunglasses. Also,
Wow, you missed your opportunity.
I just realized I have some sauce in my hair, and it's
Or-
like,
Were you making pasta? Sauce.
no, something like it's, sticky.
Interesting. Interesting. All right, should we begin with our typical intro?
Yes. Right. And there is a Jedi again.
There's the
Is it
screech.
also like
I mean, I feel like your camera is just not clean, and that's why it's doing that like little laser jet.
you just accused my camera? Oh.
See, now it's not doing.
Oh my
Oh my
God.
God.
How messy I am.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So,
All right, shall we?
let's do it. Hello, hello.
This is the podcast, girls.
And the city. You are welcomed by your two lovely co-hosts, me, Susanna, your friend who definitely doesn't have it all together, but believes in faking it until you make it.
And me, Elizabeth, who's got high standards but always seems to be settling for the wrong guy. But anyways, each week we discuss an episode of Sex and the City. This time we're on episode 6. And we answer and reflect on the main questions and sharing personal experiences in the modern with a modern dating twist. But yeah, we're in. How are you doing?
Well, as you can see, I have decided to wear sunglasses today, and it's evening in London. So, I think that kind of tells you about the state of my life at the moment. Um, I'm looking forward to I'm looking forward to Christmas, and I hopefully will do nothing. Although, is that your dog again?
Trying to get him to stop. Well, we'll have Marvin enter the podcast for a second. This is Marvin. Marvin, go sit down over there. Go,
I
buddy,
think that's
go.
the only guy that is allowed to
In my
join.
life, yeah, it's true.
Oh
Or
no,
only,
I didn't go that far, but sure. For everyone who's interested, there is already a guy that has taken Elizabeth's heart,
he's
and it's
4.6
Marvin,
pounds.
and likes to scratch the floor apparently.
The couch, it's just a
And
chair.
the way to win your heart is to want to cuddle all the time, right?
I mean, is there anything wrong with that? I don't think so.
No, no, I think cuddling is good. It's underrated. You know, you should get like 3 hugs per day, and it will make your day better.
God, no wonder I'm having such a sucky day. Uh,
Yeah, me.
just
I don't
kidding.
know what about. How are you?
I'm doing good. I had a decently good week. Went to a friend's Christmas party yesterday. It was really nice to see everyone
Nice.
before everyone like heads off home who have families around. Yeah, unlike them, I'm staying here and
Are
spending
you s-
Christmas with my dog.
are you staying there alone over the Christmas?
Yeah, I mean, okay, because like, I mean, I don't really do Christmas because the whole like Russian calendar is a little
Oh, you
skewed.
have it like in January, right?
Yeah, we have it after. But so I'm excited for New Year's though, and I'm taking a couple of days off just to chill around New Year's time. Yeah,
That's always something that was weird to me. So when is your Christmas? 6th of January?
it's on the 6th. Yeah, 6th to the 7th.
Are you actually
Um,
celebrating it as much as
I
the
mean, I'll
birthday?
FaceTime my parents. I'm sure like we'll do a little FaceTime dinner.
What?
Um,
I could not imagine to not go home for Christmas.
I
And
wish. Yeah.
where are
Um,
they now?
they're in Moscow, but it's a little tougher for me to go there.
Oh, I imagine.
So
But your
yeah,
sister
yeah.
is in Europe, right?
She's in Europe, yeah, and I'm gonna see her in February, hopefully. So that'll be good.
No, 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 no. You're gonna see me most importantly,
Yes,
among
when I
among others.
yeah, we'll get to do a live one of these,
Yeah.
which would be awesome. But
Yeah.
yeah. that's been that. And then this morning I went to my Pilates class. That was really nice to start the day with. And now we're
I saw you
here.
hit like 50 classes or something
I
recently.
did. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like,
Congratulations.
thank
Now you
you.
are like a Pilates pro.
I mean, it's boxing and Pilates. I'm not like a pro at either one of them. So I think like
That's like a
I'm,
really weird combination, by the way.
I know. And once I do them sometimes back to back, so I'll do boxing and then Pilates right after. Um, it's
Wow.
a nightmare of an hour and a half. It's very fun though.
Two
Yeah.
after each other.
Yeah, back to
You
back.
have
You get
my
a 15-minute
respect.
break in the middle to get some water. That's pretty much how it goes. But yeah, should we dive into the episode?
Let's
Um,
do that.
I mean
Let's do
the
that.
it's called Secret Sex. I mean, what more do we have to say?
AKA
Um,
relationships. It's not only
yeah,
sex. It's not only sex.
exactly, exactly.
You want to give
So
like a short summary?
yes, I'll go into that. So basically, we begin with finally Carrie goes on a date with Big, and that's essentially the whole situation. Or actually, before we even get to the date, she's taking a photo shoot because her column is taking off. She has a photo shoot to do. They put her in this cool dress, and she's like, oh, "I'm only wearing the dress because they told me I could keep it after." And essentially, it's going to be a shoot for a ad that ends up on a bus, which is kind of exciting.
And
So,
which would
so
never
Carrie,
happen today anymore.
I mean, yeah, I think it'll
No
take a
one,
little
no
bit more
one would,
effort.
no one would want to have ad on the bus. It's gonna be like
I
on
mean,
social
I
media or
think
something.
it's definitely on social media. Yeah, ironically, I see the only ads that I see is like for personal injury lawyers around here, which I think it just says a lot
That's
about the
oddly
demographic.
specific. Yeah.
It's only because I work with those clients that I understand that. I'm like, oh, I know you. But yeah, so I think nowadays I don't think you'd be advertising a column on a bus. Definitely not.
No.
Um,
Very much 90s.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but either way,
Continue.
she gets a cool dress. She gets to keep the dress, and then yeah, she finally has her date with Big. She's getting ready, and obviously she's wearing the dress. And for those who haven't seen the episode, it's called the naked dress just because it's a nude mini dress. Um,
And she's wearing nothing under it. I mean,
it's just
maybe the panties, but definitely not a bra.
at the most. And I'm assuming it's winter because she throws like a fur coat over it, so you
Yeah,
get the
I have a
image.
lot of questions about this first date, but I will let you finish.
It's very spicy. I mean, hey. Like she's already met this guy, she already knows they're both into each other, so like that's fine. But yeah, she's getting ready for this date, and then they're discussing within the friend group of like what happens if she sleeps with him on the first date, and then Charlotte's like, "Don't you dare! Like you could never date a guy that like you sleep with on a first date." And obviously there's like Samantha being like, "It really doesn't matter when you sleep with them; they're still like men are men. It really does not determine anything." But yeah, so what happens is, and not to, I mean, spoiler alert, but she gets into the limousine with Mr. Big and they essentially hook up and then they end up at his apartment and they, yeah, have sex before they even get to the date. And then
Mm.
afterwards they decide maybe they should actually get some food. At which point they go to a Chinese restaurant that Mr. Big knows. It's relatively empty when they walk in, except for Carrie spots a guy that she knows, and she comes up to him and says like, "Hi, how are you doing?" And he seems to be on a date, so she feels really awkward because he's not introducing his date. But she's like, "Oh, hi, I'm Carrie." Um, yeah, and then she goes back to and has dinner with Big, and after that date, he doesn't call her. And so
Yeah,
obviously
but
she's thinking,
it's
yeah,
not. It's not really like. Sorry, I'm
you're good,
slightly
you're good.
sick. It's not really clear how long, right? Or did
It's
they say?
not. I don't know. Like, and I think it's been like maybe a day or two that he didn't call. And so obviously she is back within the friend group. And then Charlotte's like, "Ugh, I should like I told you you shouldn't have slept with them on the first date." Um, and yeah, and at this point, she also invited Big to go see the bus with the ad, and he never showed up. And there was a silly situation with the bus as well. Um, but yeah, essentially, he eventually calls her and they chat about it, and then she's like, "Oh, I think that what was it that she showed up at his place drunk, well, didn't she? Yeah, she showed up at his place drunk.
Yes.
Yeah,
No,
and
I
then
mean, I think he called her at some point and they went for the date actually, what,
Okay.
like to the same restaurant, and then she realized that he might be kind of,
Keeping her on the down low.
yes. And they also, there was this moment where they walked, I think it was the morning after, I don't know, when they walked on the street and he met some friends of his and he did not introduce Carrie to them.
Right. Right. Yeah, so anyways, after all that happened, she then got drunk because she's been drinking champagne all day. And she showed up at his apartment and then basically wanted to confront him about it, saying like, "Why am I the girl that you're trying to hide? Why are you taking me to restaurants that you don't want anyone to see me at? Why are you not introducing me to your friends?" That kind of situation. And he gave her some reasonable explanations, being like, "I just like that Chinese place has good food." And then the fact that he didn't introduce her to his friends was because they weren't even his friends. Like he's like, I don't even remember their names. So he's like, I just felt awkward. So that's a major recap. We also have
What
a
about the
moment,
parallels
the parallels. Yeah. So
stories?
the friend that she met at the restaurant, basically, she also like confronted him, being like, "Is did you pick that restaurant because you knew like nobody would know you there? Like, are you trying to hide this woman?" And he kind of opens up to her, saying that, "Yeah, I met her after my breakup and I felt like she was just a very comfortable person to be around. Like the sex is great, but I don't see myself with her." And similarly, we also run into a story of Charlotte and the rabbi, who wasn't
Right.
actually a rabbi. I think it
He
was
was
just
like a
something else.
folk. He said
He's some sort of spiritual
Hasidic
leader.
folk artist. I
Yeah,
sorry if I totally
butcher
messed
that.
the
Yeah,
first
no,
word. Yeah,
yeah, I think
he was
he
an
is.
artist, like Jewish artist. That was the vibe that
But
I was
he was
getting.
like a Hasidic Jewish artist. Okay, let's just say that he had importance in his community and his culture. Let's put it that way. Yeah, and so basically, because she's into art, she went over to his place to look at the art, and then they ended up also hooking up. So she's like, "We'd never in any kind of world be together, but it was just something that we did." So, and then we go on the topic of like just secret sex overall, of like if it's taboo, if people like are ashamed of their kinks. Because especially we also have the parallel story of Miranda, who was in her boxing class. I'm guessing I think it was a
She
boxing
basically
class.
kicked this guy into his face. That's how they started.
Obviously, that's how you get a guy to like you.
I should just go back to boxing again.
Just kick him. Um,
Where? That's the question.
well, you don't want to injure them too much. But yeah, so she met this guy, and then eventually they go on a date. It's perfectly lovely. And then one day she's just in his apartment when he's already gone off to a work trip. And
This
she
was
starts,
actually the first time, like they slept together, and he left, and she, like, had the first time a moment
yeah,
to snitch through his things, basically.
yeah. So basically, she went through his stuff and was trying to find some dirt on him, and she found a VHS cassette, which is, for those who know, they know.
Nostalgic, nostalgic.
I mean, mine had Beethoven. His was slightly different. Um, so essentially, yeah, she finds a cassette which was porn, but it was a very specific type of porn, which was essentially like I think someone spanking a guy's butt. Correct?
I think it might have been like Dom sub type of thing where the
Yeah.
guy was the sub.
Right. Right.
But
And
yeah,
so
the only thing we saw was the spanking.
yeah. Um, and so she brought it up in the friend group. They all kind of laughed about it and being like, well, kinks are kings. But then she kind of started to introduce it into their date and essentially was trying to refer to it. And it made him super uncomfortable to a point that he just like walked off and never called her again.
So
He felt
many things to
exposed.
unraft. So many things to
I
unraft in
mean,
this episode.
a lot happened. A lot happened. Where should we begin? I guess we should begin with a big question
Yeah.
that Carrie's trying to address.
I actually, this time, I think there is like weirdness about this episode because I found two questions and no answer.
Oh, and no answer. I mean, I have a question. I think we kind of get the answer, but not like
Okay.
explicitly.
Okay, that I am curious now because when the episode ends, I was like, "Where is Carrie's
Where's the
answer?"
summary?
Yeah,
Um,
where is her usual, closing? But tell me
yeah.
the question.
Well, the one that I thought was the main question, and tell me if you thought it was a different one, but I thought it was how many people are having great sex with people they don't see themselves with?
Yeah, so that was my main question as well.
Okay.
And then there was another question at some point, which I think is actually should be probably the main one now when I'm looking at it, because it has
Mhm.
more thought in it, and I feel Carrie is always very thoughtful about her questions. It's about, was secret sex the ultimate form of intimacy since it existed in a pure state, exempt from the judgment of the world? Or is it just another form in which we deny our emotions and oh my god,
Compartmentalize.
compartmentalize our lives?
That's a deep one. Okay, that's deeper than the
Yeah.
surface level
And
one of like how many people.
I don't know which one is the main one, to be honest. I mean, they're all
I mean,
both
they're
touching on the
related.
same thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's more of like a who and then a why.
yeah.
All right. Okay.
You guys writing it down?
I'm just trying to figure out which I want to start with. I think like okay, let's start with maybe the also the just the beginning of like the whole rules thing. I know we touched a bit about on this on the first, sorry, on the last episode, but like, is there a golden rule? And tell me if you have one or like other, people that do of like you can't sleep with people on a first date and like how long do you have to wait? And is that like a law?
So, I think we talked about this last episode, remember?
A
We
little
talked
bit because we were talking
about,
about our own
yeah,
personal dating rules, but I'm just like curious because they
yeah,
actually like they showed it the different perspectives from the characters and all of them have very valid points, I think.
yeah. I think we both mentioned this last time, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. So it was funny to kind of now when I watch the episode, seeing that this is actually is getting a specific attention.
Yeah.
I one thing I found very interesting before I give my answer is what Charlotte said that wait, I have to find that.
The actual quote.
Uh, the number of dates that you wait to have sex is directly proportional to your age.
Let's unpack that.
Which I have never heard that. It's interesting way to look at it.
Charlotte has interesting girl math. I have to like give
Yeah.
it to her.
No, but I do agree. I think I have to give her the fact that I do agree you should not probably do it on the first date if you want that to be something more than just sex.
Right.
I think, like, overall, excluding exceptions, because there are always exceptions, I think that you should get to know the person a little bit more and maybe build something more than just physical attraction, because I think if you sleep with the person immediately, it kind of, and I think I mentioned this last time, it already opens that, how do I put this in words? That railway, and once you pass certain limitation, I think you cannot not do it anymore. So I would just kind
Yeah.
of take over, especially in the initial stages. And if you don't know the person, I don't know. I think it can like switch the focus from emotional to the physical too much. If you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
It's all yeah, I get it in the sense that like it almost blocks out your mind because again, our minds are so single focused and the fact that like the next time you see them, you're just purely associating of like, oh, last time we just slept together. And
Yeah.
you don't invest as much maybe time or effort of like actually getting to know them and like focusing on that. You're just like constantly being like, wow, I slept with this person. Like,
And also, you don't feel like it's such a big step to cross anymore once you crossed it. So I think it's just going to be
yeah.
easier from then on. So I agree with Charlotte. And I think
I don't know
Miranda
if it's
also.
proportional to age though.
No, 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 no. I mean, the proportional thing, I mean, she didn't even
Give it a couple
explain
of dates. I
She didn't even
mean,
explain the equation. Like, what's the proportion? Like how many days it is for me now when I'm 28.
yeah, yeah, that's fair.
Um, I think she mentioned like five, at least five. Which,
That's a
what do you
lot.
think? Right?
I mean, in our busy lives today, it's like if I'm actually like dating someone, we both have full-time jobs, let's say, right? And like we maybe only see each other once or twice a week because I've got like my
Oh,
life
that's
and I've
quite
got
good.
friends. No,
If
like,
you are dating someone at the very from like a very early beginning, I think that's quite good number
but
per week,
then
two,
you're
three
waiting a
times.
month, like, and I still like barely know this person, but at the same time, chemistry is very important in a relationship. And I understand that you don't have to like actually sleep with someone to understand whether there's chemistry or not, but
No, I
like,
mean like I think what Samantha said was really on point. That isn't it better to find out if the sex is good before anyone's feelings get hurt?
yeah,
And the guy can dump you also if you wait 5 days to have sex with them.
yeah,
Same goes for a girl. I think that it's not only specific to one gender. I don't want to be saying that only men do this. So there is a validity in that as well.
that's true. That's true. That's why I really don't get like people who, and I get it, there's like a cultural thing and like a whole thing of like won't have sex before marriage. I'm like, what if it's bad and you guys are married for like life?
Well, I think if it's bad and you wait and then it happens and it's bad, you will probably lose interest anyway.
Yeah, so the
No?
marriage is a little bit doomed, you know?
No, I mean, like, I have respect for people who wait until after marriage. I think, I mean, I understand it's different morals, ideologies,
Completely, I get it. Yeah,
whatsoever,
yeah, yeah.
but
Cultures,
that's a
religions.
huge risk, in my opinion. Like, I think you need
Yeah,
to be compatible to some
in
extent,
always.
physically with the person that you decide to marry. And if you find out afterwards that you're not at all, I mean, you're just not gonna enjoy at all anything sexual,
Yeah,
or we'll find someone else at some point.
which is a shame. A shame.
Yeah. So,
God. Okay.
not.
Anyways.
What is your opinion?
No,
Like,
I mean, I kind of
have you ever done first date sex?
no, it's
Spicy
not a
question.
date. I mean, I definitely slept with someone
Elizabeth
that
is
I like
getting a little
met
bit red.
this. Shut up. I'm saying, like, I definitely slept with someone that I've just met, but it wasn't a date, which is it makes it almost even worse. But it's kind of
No,
true because like I didn't have any intention of dating them.
it was a very long time ago. You were young and you just wanted to have fun.
I'm just saying. Anyways, but yeah, if I am going on like a date, my intention is usually just to like sit down, get to know them, and hopefully
That,
schedule the next one.
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Those are the
agree.
milestones I'm trying to hit.
But what if it's like very, very, very attractive and the chemistry is just
Great, then let's
crazy?
schedule the next date tomorrow. I've done that before too.
Oh, oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I've
you're not
actually
that busy,
once well, I'm not well, it depends on the week. No, like a while back
or the
I had
person.
a it's true. No, a while back I had a first date and then it was so good that like he called me 2 hours later. He's like, "Hey, do you want to have our second date
Oh,
tonight?" And I
that's
was
so
like,
cute.
"Sure." I like didn't have any
Oh,
plans. I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." Um,
damn, I like
yeah,
that.
I like it too. It takes some confidence as well as like you both have to understand that like the first one was fun enough. So like yeah, it was good. It didn't end up in a relationship though, so that's we were
Mm.
incompatible in other ways.
But let me ask you one thing. And I keep bumping the mic into my chin, so if that can be heard, I'm sorry.
The Jedi chin.
Jedi chin. Do you have specific outfits that you would wear, or do you like have specific outfits you would not wear, or
She
makeup? You
really
know,
is bringing up the naked dress into the conversation.
I am slightly
I get
because
it.
I mean,
Mm,
It was a staple.
it
Tits on
is.
toast.
Would I wear it? Probably not. Um, yeah, and I've actually
Like
gotten
ever
asked about it.
or for the first
No, I
date?
mean like on a first date, and I've actually gotten asked by the same guy that like wanted to have 2 dates in one day. He later on asked me of like why I don't wear tops that are like showing off my figure more. Let's put it that way. Um,
Wow, on like second date.
on like yeah, like initial dates, he's like, you have so much to offer, and I was like, yeah, but I have so much to offer, not just physically. So like I think if I am really feeling myself or like feeling very confident and I found a really cute outfit and I'm dying to wear it, I do it. Because I think that's what Carrie was feeling at the time. She's like, I just got this photo shoot done. I'm going to be on a bus. This dress looks amazing on me. Like, why not wear it? Um, I don't know if I'd wear that. I'm a little more like, it also depends on the season as well. If it's in the summer, I might wear
Mm.
something that's like a more of a mini skirt vibe, and a cute top. Whereas like, yeah, it's cold outside. So I don't know if I'd wear a short dress and a
Yeah.
fur coat. How about
Well,
you?
I would definitely not wear that. I think that the message you're sending is very clear, and I don't want to be sending that message the first date. I've heard about this before on TikTok, obviously, and someone said that they actually underdress for the first date, and then they actually put
Mm,
effort in the second date. And I think I have been doing that a lot unconsciously. Like I would be like, I would not put 100% into my appearance for the first date because simply I don't want to give it all, at the first date. And also, I want them to like get to know me more than look at me. So,
yeah, that's
I
fair.
mean, that's a dress. I don't know if I
Yeah.
would ever wear that. Also, I don't have proportions on some of my body parts to wear that. And yeah, I don't know. Probably not the dress in general. A dress, if I would wear a dress, maybe, but definitely less revealing in the general sense. You
That
know,
makes
like
sense.
you want to like tease, but not expose everything. I think she was
I don't know about
exposing.
like tease, but more like hint, right? Like
Yeah, that's the word. That's the word.
open, intrigue the imagination. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I have worn a turtleneck to a few of them, so
There's nothing
not
wrong with a
sure.
turtleneck. I love a turtleneck.
I love turtleneck as well. I think it's about that. Like, what makes you comfortable? It's the ultimate thing you
Yeah.
should wear. And if you want
Because
to wear slutty things because you feel uncomfortable with that, do that. I don't mind. It's not my cup of tea, but I'm pretty sure there are people who feel really confident in that.
right. No, because like one of the better compliments that I've definitely gotten is, and like this is funny. When that guy told me of like, oh, why don't you like wear basically more revealing things? But a different guy that saw me that same night, later on complimented me on the fact that he's like, when I first saw you, he's like, I had imagined an image of you of like what you would look like with something that's more revealing, let's say. He's like, and it was exactly what I imagined, if not better. So like that was like one of the nicer compliments. So that's exactly like I think achieves that goal of like you want to hint at it, but you don't want to overexpose it.
It feels like there are a lot of guys commenting your body on the first date.
They're just very
Is that a pattern or is this just a coincidence?
they're just very direct in the US. That's all I have to say.
I don't think anyone. I don't think that happens to me that much.
You
But
should come
I
out with
do.
me sometime.
Maybe you should take me to salsa club.
Oh my God, yeah, the salsa club.
But I have had on the first date, which very nice date, but I have never had this compliment in my life about my hands.
Oh,
That I have very pretty hands, And
Nice.
I don't think that's true because my nails usually look shit. And also I have very, very tiny hands, like very tiny.
But maybe that's
So
exactly what that person liked. I mean, there are guys who are into hands, just like there are guys who are into
and
feet.
no one ever commented my hands. Like I think everyone knows about their
You have to be a
strengths.
hand connoisseur to really understand the beauty of your tiny hands.
Yeah, I mean that like when he told me you have beautiful hands or pretty hands, I was like, "Oh, thank you." Is that I was not expecting that. And then I
Yeah,
think they also commented on my hair. But not like you
you
have
do have
pretty
nice hair
hair.
though.
But that's not what they said. They were like,
Oh,
do you have curly hair naturally?" And I was like, "Yes." And I think that was kind of like what
meant to be a
he
compliment.
liked. Yeah, so I was like, I don't know, a different way of complimenting, and for sure, like phrasing it differently. I enjoyed it definitely more than if
Right.
someone would tell me you should have wear more revealing clothes. No one ever told me that. I guess why? I don't know. Not much to reveal, probably.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like a compliment or not. I
It's
felt like it was a
it's in the
backhanded
gray
compliment.
area. I don't think I would enjoy it on the first day if someone would tell me, "Oh, you should wear more revealing clothes."
I'd be like, no, I look cute and I'm warm and I'm like half the time I wear like really comfortable and cozy things, the things that like I'm comfortable in. I was like, I'm not wearing this for you. This is for me.
Yeah, I think
Um,
that's what it should be. Just wear whatever
yeah, because
if
that's the
you.
thing is like I don't think Carrie wore the dress for Mr. Big to like drool over. I think it's just like it was a cool dress and made her feel confident. She was going on this date that she's been like wanting for so long because she keeps on running into this guy, right? I think it was
I
more
don't
of like a
know.
confidence boost.
I think she wanted to be a. She wanted to appear sexy
And she did.
because she definitely. I mean, she looked great. I don't think I can pull that off, but she looked great, and she didn't look slutty when she put the coat on, which is
No. She's also
crazy.
in a limo. Like,
Yeah, but she's not wearing tights. Have you noticed?
I couldn't. I couldn't. I did notice. I
Like, yeah, I mean, she probably knew she's not gonna walk much outside, but I would be probably I would get sick
she had
next day
other
if I do this,
plans. Yeah,
you know?
for
Anyway,
sure.
what was I saying? I think she knew exactly what this dress is saying, and it was, in my opinion, like a first hint of the dynamic of their relationship, where she's trying too hard to be perceived
Hmm.
perfect or desirable by him, and he's just like
Or
nonchalantly
she's trying to
kind of.
assume what he might like.
Yeah, or I think it's just more like I want to, like I'm trying the hardest to like please him to like me versus just like I am doing this purely for myself, and if he doesn't like me I don't really care,
Yeah,
like Samantha, mindset.
right, right, right. I'm also curious though, like, including the dress and like even the circumstances, but they ended up at a Chinese restaurant on their first date. Like,
Yeah,
that's the
like
last
that's
place I'd
shit.
expect Mr. Big to be. Like, how would you feel if someone took you? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Chinese restaurants. I love them. It's a great like comfort food. But I'm like, if you're trying to impress someone on a first date, it just would not
No,
be my choice of venue.
no, but that's exactly what I, but like my one of my topical question is like this whole, like I think it's worth to discuss the early dynamics of their relationship because I think in this episode we very basically it summarized the relationship for the next I don't know how many seasons,
Yeah,
where he is kind of like meh about her, and she is going neurotic because she feels unsafe, that she's not good enough for him.
right.
Summary, and I think that also shows perfectly in the example of the dinner place that he chose. If he would want to really impress her, because I mean he has money, he's older, he has fucking limo and a chauffeur. Like, come
Yeah,
on, like you can do much better than that. And if he would, when the person is a little bit like insecure, and like trying to impress you. He was super fucking comfortable. He didn't really care. He just thought about himself. Like, oh, I like
yeah.
this place. Let's just go there because I like the food. Whether you are with me or not is like I can go there with someone else, it wouldn't play a big role. I don't think he wanted to impress her at all.
Yeah, that's where he's a bit of a black cat.
He's definitely a black cat. And
And we
and
know how
because
we
of
feel
that,
about that.
she's going crazy, which we see already in this episode as well. Like, I was
Yeah.
again, doing my Reddit research as I usually do. And someone mentioned that it's crazy to think that she made such a episode after they went out for a first date, literally, and she already like went crazy into his apartment and made this like drama about it.
But
Like,
hey, I get it, because like adding up those insecurities and talking to her friend who literally was like a guy that brought a
oh,
girl he didn't want to be seen with, like
I get it as well. But
I can see how it spirals.
imagine you go out with someone for the first time, right? Imagine that you are like you would be big and you would be kind of like, I don't know, I'm just gonna enjoy my time with this person. Like, I have no clue how I feel about this, and
Right.
they would like come to your house in the middle of the night, drunk, and start to like yell at you that why you don't want to show them in public. Like, I would be like, okay, this is no for me. I'm done with this person. Like, what is
Yeah.
this? Like, how would you react?
I mean, I rarely like it's not that I am public with things, but usually people know when I am dating someone or that like
Define
there
people.
is someone. Like my friends.
Friends?
Yeah. So like and if we were to run in, well, actually, it's kind of hard because if it's the early stages of dating, you're running into like your friends. It's kind of awkward to introduce them as like, I don't know, your significant other because they're not at this
No,
point. They're
of
just
course.
dating.
But you would introduce them like, hi, this is my friend X, right? Mr. Big did
I
not say
wouldn't, I
anything.
wouldn't even say friend. I would just be like, yeah, hi, like this is
Oh,
like
I would
Carrie,
say
right?
friend. Hi, this is my
Oh, you
friend.
put them
No,
like,
no.
okay, but that's putting them in the friend zone, no?
Maybe. But
I
I
feel like
mean,
that's a worse signal.
well, I'm now retrospecting of all the relationships. Times I did that.
These poor guys are thinking they're still
I
in the
mean,
friend zone.
unless maybe unless you are 100% sure that this is a person I'm dating and we are public, I would never
Yeah.
refer to them as like, what would you refer to? Like, oh, this is my to be lover or to be boyfriend? No, it's just a friend because
It's
we are
just like,
friends. That's true, we definitely are friends, and everything
I
more we are,
guess.
I don't want to yet expose to the world, so I'm just gonna
I don't
say the
know.
level.
If
That's
I'm
my
dating
thinking.
someone, the last thing I want to be is introduced as a friend. Because that to me is like almost like a secret.
Okay, but
Like it's like, oh,
let's
it's my friend that I'm spending time with.
maybe that's a good prefix to the second question that is basically just the story of this episode.
Yeah.
And but just let me finish. The whole concept of dating, I think that's where the problem starts, because I think different people call dating something like call different things dating.
Ah, okay.
Like, I am seeing someone, but I am not calling them officially my boyfriend or girlfriend. It's not dating for me yet. I'm just seeing them until
Wait,
we
so what
go
are the
official.
stages?
I think it's coming. I think this is like a language thing for me,
It might be.
because in Slovak, if I translate dating, it sounds very serious to me, and I would not say that unless I'm 100% sure I want to be dating that person. And to me, like, initial stages when you're just kind of hanging out, like, first, I would say 10 dates at least. Like, that's not dating to me. That's just seeing each other
Seeing.
and
Okay.
and kind of understanding if we want to actually make this real or not. And I mean, like, the number 10 is just, the random thing I throw. It can be more, it can be less, obviously, depending on the context. But I would not call it dating. I think you probably have a different approach to that.
I don't like I'm so bad with that. I've never been good with the terms. I just feel it when I know I'm with someone and when I know it's the situationship and when I know it's not me being with someone. But I think it's like, yeah, it goes
What?
seeing and dating.
I didn't get that. If I the
confusing,
only
I know.
one, then I'm sorry.
You're probably not. Um, yeah, I guess it does go from like seeing to dating. Um, but with dating, I think there becomes a level of exclusivity almost, right? Because if you're seeing each other, you might still be seeing
True.
other people. With dating, it's like you're consistently going on dates and yeah, starting to only see each other. I think there's almost like that spoken or unspoken rule. Um, and then it flows into a relationship. But still, the point of dating, I don't think you are in a relationship, but tell me if I'm wrong.
The moment you say dating, I think it gives this specific perception of people of how they look at you. And
Yeah,
I think that's something, very private and intimate between you. And you should take all the time you need to feel comfortable that the public will perceive you that way, especially if you have friends in common. So that's why, like, I would, for me saying this is my friend would just like put all these things away and no one would question. I mean, maybe they would, but they would not say it out loud. And it just kind of like makes it keep in your control or hands versus, you know what I mean?
yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. I just hate to be introduced as a friend.
Oh, I don't mind. I
Especially
would
if
be
we're way
like,
more than friends. Oh, no.
well, probably that kind of explains why I probably had more secret relationships than you did have have had.
I don't know if I've ever had a secret relationship.
Coming to our next question, have you ever had a secret relationship? Or have you ever been in one? That's a better one.
I don't know if it's a secret relationship. It's definitely been like a relationship between the two of us, but the other person didn't necessarily want to go and scream it off the top of the hill, or if people have asked, they didn't want to answer it. But that's to them because it's actually maybe I was in a secret relationship, but it just like at the time they did become more public about it later on, but still at the time they're like, why should anyone else care? Why should anyone else know? They basically felt like they had a reputation to upkeep in front of everyone else. They're like, these are not my friends. These are strangers. Why should they care? Kind of situation. Um, so it made me almost feel like, yeah, they were trying to keep me secret, which I was like, what do you mean? It's such an honor to be with me. Like, why aren't you proud of
I
that?
agree. I
Um,
that
yeah,
would be my thought process as well. I mean, if I would want to be perceived
right.
publicly, because there were also moments where I didn't want to be, and then I'm actually not feeling comfortable if they want to go public. But yeah, I think if you can be aware of it and kind of accept that, it might work for you as long as you both are getting what you want from it. Now, that was, I think, slightly different to what Carrie and Big has.
Yeah. Or even her
And
friend and that woman. Like, I think, because with Big and Carrie, I don't think it's actually a secret relationship, whereas, like, with that other guy, it really was.
yeah, like I think she was what was her name? Debbie? Lobby? I don't know.
God, something like that.
I think she was looking for a genuine like relationship, and also Carrie is looking for like a genuine relationship. So that expectation from the beginning, it will not work with a secret relationship because you don't want to be secret.
Totally. Yeah, and that's fair. Like, again, it comes back to, like, good communication, because it's totally fine to be, like, in a relationship that you don't want others to know about, but as long as, like, it's clear to both parties and it's not hurting anyone's feelings, um, then that's understandable. But yeah, if somebody is actively trying to hide you as, like, their deep, dark secret, then that's where it gets a little shaky, I think.
And just to add to that, one of my friends who have had experience with secret relationships, I actually asked the question,
Hmm.
the long one, about like, is it increasing the intimacy that you feel in this setup, or is it just a way to deny your emotions? They said that in a way it is exaggerating the intimacy for them
Interesting.
because yeah, it kind of makes it more, I don't know if it's intense, but protected from the others.
Right.
I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think at some point, the strongest way you can feel about someone is if you're public,
Yeah,
but different people, different opinions. So that was an observation that, just shows different people feel differently about these things.
for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we've also asked people on Instagram. Thanks you for doing that, Susie.
Yay!
But
We are starting to involve you,
we're
and
trying.
yes,
But yeah, we had some followers that basically the question was, have you been in a relationship with someone who wanted to keep it a secret? Majority of people said no, so 67%, but 33% did say yes. So, and we also
welcome to
asked
my
how,
group.
welcome to the group, welcome to the party. And
Sorry.
yeah, and we also had the exact opposite question of, have you ever dated someone that you wanted to keep secret? And that answer was 50-50. So I think, yeah, it definitely goes both ways, and I think it's also very context specific. Um, because again, for certain reasons, like yeah, you maybe couldn't be together, like culturally, religiously, it's just not going to work long term. But there's like a connection between the two of you, whereas you genuinely don't think that like you're almost ashamed of it to be with someone like
Yeah,
that.
but what do you think about that? Like the literal sentence that Mike told Carrie that I just is not someone I see myself with, that she's not pretty enough. I think that's what was his reason, but it also might be that socially we are just not in the same class or level.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, I think unfortunately that's the ugly truth, right? It's every single person has their list of things that they'd be looking for in a partner, and each one of those aspects will have a certain weight. Ironically, like different example of this, but my dad and I are looking at whether I should change apartments, move to a different city, and we're looking at different factors and weighing those as like level of importance. I think it goes the same way for relationships. It's like I actually want someone who's very intellectually like stimulating. I want someone who is much more family oriented. And for those different people, like those are gonna be different weights. And I do unfortunately think that, yeah, the way that someone looks is more important to some than others, and that could be like almost a deal breaker to them. Which is unfortunate because clearly they have a very strong connection, and like this guy feels super comfortable with her, and you
No,
know,
but like, funnily enough, he actually asked her to be his girlfriend at the end, and then she said, like, I'm done with you. I found someone who is not
actually
who doesn't have
appreciates
this,
her.
yeah, like, doesn't have these insecurities. So I think that was a very nice learning takeaway from that.
I hope I hope. I mean, I hope enough guys saw that. Because yeah, just don't have a girl waiting around for you until you finally decide that you will settle for being with her. Because nobody wants to be settled on.
I think that's
Um,
like very common these days, especially. Oh my God, I keep referring dating apps, but I think it is like pretty common with dating apps that you would
yeah,
kind of have, because you text with multiple people right at the beginning, and then you maybe start developing the connection deeper with someone else, but if it doesn't work out you will kind of keep some people as a alternative still.
yeah, yeah. No, that's fair.
um
Um,
anyway, I want to slightly touch one more thing before
yeah,
we close
please do.
this, and that is yeah, Miranda and her mini story about going through
That
thoughts.
mini relationship. Yeah.
Like, have you ever done that? How do you feel about this? Like, you leave someone at your not at your house, or someone leaves you at their house. Would you do that? How crazy are you?
I don't, I mean, I'm crazy, but I don't think I'd do that just because, and it's not that I have anything to hide in my apartment, but I just wouldn't want them to find essentially dirt on me in my apartment. There's plenty of dirt, but like you can just ask me about it. I'll be super clear. But I just wouldn't want it to be done to me. So I would want to keep that level of trust and respect because like again, it's this person that you're just getting to know. Yeah, like all of us have our like what in Russia we say like our roaches, but I think in English they say like something in the closet. I don't know. But it
Right.
basically it's like we all, oh, the ghost in the closet, I think that's what it is. In Russian we call them roaches, but everyone has their own problems and like they'll emerge earlier, later enough, that will come up, and I would just trust the process in that sense, even though I do think it is very, I think Miranda just fell for the trap of being
Mm.
trusted with that and then taking too much advantage of it,
Which I
to a
would
point
never
that,
say Miranda would do this, by the way. It's like a little bit out of her character.
yeah, I'd almost expect Charlotte to do it, you know?
Or Carrie.
Oh, definitely Carrie. Yeah, definitely Carrie would go through. Well, she does in the future. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Oh, she does.
spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Not with Big though. Not with Big. With a different guy. But yeah, like I just wouldn't do it. Would you?
No, I mean, I think it's for me. It's more like a question of respect. I wouldn't do this to someone because I think it's very disrespectful. They should reveal information about themselves once they are ready, because
Yeah.
I am the same. And if someone would do this to me, I would find it really, really bad and probably call it off as well. It's just, yeah,
You
like
go
you have
that
zero.
far. Okay. I mean, I
Oh,
guess I think it depends of like how into them you
I
are.
mean, for sure. That's always playing a big role. But let's say, I don't know. That's actually a good question. Probably if I'm like really, really into them, and they would, let's say, find porn, like exactly this one, right? It's
Right,
like a
right.
little bit kinky, and they would make a reference about that. Maybe I would like play on it, but also I think I'm very, in many ways, I am like principle. I
Yeah.
put a lot of importance into principles, and principally this is disrespectful in my opinion. So I don't know if I could like look over through it and be like, oh, it's like playful, and let's like do something with that. I mean, she went through his stuff,
Yeah.
and she didn't say anything. She didn't ask. Like if she would
I think
ask,
she was just also so shocked by what she found that she
yeah.
like
And
might
also
have
like
not known how to ask.
I would never reference this if I'm Miranda, and okay, I do
I
this. I
wouldn't
would
either,
never
actually.
mention that. Like, I would probably like be more nonchalant about it and being like, "What do you like, in bed? Or like,
Yeah,
do you have any fantasies, stuff like that?" I would not like spill it like this, because then it's just like you show what you did.
right, right, exactly. I mean, funnily enough, once upon a time, I was like in one of my relationships, I found out that my boyfriend at the time had like certain kinks, but it wasn't until like 8 months into the relationship. So like eventually it does surface like once they are comfortable, but 8 months was a while. Which is interesting. But I think it also comes back to trust and like
Mm.
for me, and I don't know, like I'm actually curious how you approach the topic of trust, especially in relationships. And this again, to me, like goes back to friendships, romantic relationships, regardless. But like my one rule, so maybe I don't have dating rules, but I have like trust rules, is like most people I think begin with they meet a brand new person and their trust starts at zero and it builds up. For me, it's the
Right.
exact opposite. Like every single
What?
person I meet in my eyes is a pure angel until they prove me wrong. And that's exactly where it like goes downhill and it's really hard to come back up. So because like I don't know if it's like a Pisces thing, but I'm like, screw me over. I'll forgive you any day and I'll forgive you easily, but I will not forget it. And I remember that you did that to me. Which was maybe a
That's
little vindictive,
crazy.
but like I am crazy. Because like
That doesn't sound Russian at all.
no, it's just like I come at everyone with absolute pure intentions and absolutely like I, if anything, wanna make your life better, by being part of your life. And so I give you my full trust and respect, and you can only ruin it.
Mm.
So like, why don't you just also approach it that way? But what's your take on it?
I mean, it makes sense. It's definitely not my case. I think I give you benefit of doubt. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Like I will not I will always try to find a reasonable explanation for your actions, but I wouldn't trust it. For me it's like I do this small, very, like, I think many times not directly visible, sometimes unconscious things and tests where I
Hmm.
want to see how the person responds, because I wouldn't trust them first. And it takes a lot of time for me to build the trust in someone, simply because I think it's like protection mechanism for me.
Defense, yeah.
And yeah, like if I don't get attached too much to a person, it's easier for me if they leave my life. And I think it's much more likely that that will happen early on. So I would
Right.
just always assume that, okay, like I should not really be too much into this yet, because I don't know what's going to happen. Now, as we build the connection, and the time goes, I will be more and more intense in my trust, and also how much I invest into that person in terms of energy.
Hmm.
But then if something really bad happens, I think my tolerance, like I will have higher tolerance for people that I care about than for people I don't know that much.
Sure.
But it also, I think, it would be harder for me to let it go, or like let it pass if something deep happened with someone I care about. Like if, sorry, if you're a random person in my like in my work, and you do something to me, and I was like, yeah, I could have expected that. I will not like really, like I will not. Maybe it depends what you do, but like I would not say like I was not seeing that coming, because everyone
Right.
has their moments. It would not really influence me that much. But if this is done by like a very dear friend of mine that I invested years in the friendship, and then they disappoint you somehow, that to me is like, where did I miscalculate that connection,
Yeah. You don't see it coming.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's like opposite. But it's not like I don't trust people and I just
It
look
sounds
for the
more if it's like
evil.
a 50-50. It's not like starting from absolutely no trust to then building up the trust. It sounds like they like have some, you have some faith
Benefit
in
of
them,
doubt.
benefit
Like
of doubt.
I hope everyone has good intentions, but the truth is people are not rational many times, and I have not been
Yeah.
myself. So I would just prepare for the worst always, and like not be surprised if that happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
I
I
mean,
don't
that's,
know if that's
I,
like, traumatic response from my childhood, or it's just my personality. But it
no, I think
helps me
it's
to
fair. Because
like
like you
not
kind of
bring the
protect yourself.
expectation exactly. Like I don't want to build the expectations too early, because then I think it's just so painful if you realize they are not being met.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Tell me about
I mean,
that as a
that's kind of
Pisces.
like me going Pisces. I mean, I cry all the time. That's all I do. Now that we're also turning this into an astrology podcast, but
No.
we actually don't know the star signs of all the characters yet. We maybe we'll get that ready for next time. Um,
I think we very much discussed this off mic.
I should bring it back because I forgot.
Yeah.
um, but like, it's also like I approach new experiences in that way, or like new people, or even dates. Like, I like to think, and this is so sad because like my standards are high as I mentioned before, but it's like my expectations are so low because I'd actually would rather be impressed. So it's like I don't get my hopes too
You
high. So
would
like I
rather
give
be what? Oppressed?
not oppressed, no, like impressed.
Oh,
Um,
impressed. Okay,
yeah,
that's
like
better.
have them surprise me in a pleasant way, rather than me being like coming in like, well, I'm gonna have like a nice date, a fancy dinner, like the wine and dine treatment. Um, is kind of in that sense. So
But I think you can still have certain standard and still be surprised.
yeah, I guess so.
Like for me, I have a standard, and I don't mean now I need to be taken to a fancy dinner that costs like a lot, and whatever. It's more like how they behave on the first day, and like
Right.
how they treat me, and
How much
like
interest
yeah.
they show, like yeah, it's the
Exactly. Like if it's
thoughtfulness.
if it's on surface level, or they just want to sleep with me eventually, or it's like actual interest in me as a person, And then like small things they would do, and say. And if they don't meet that standard, for me, like that's not interesting because I don't want to be with someone eventually who doesn't even have the minimum standard that I,
Yeah,
expect. You can still get surprised. Like I
that's
have
fair.
to say, I have been surprised many times by men how much effort and emotions and sensitivity they can feel and show.
Must be a Pisces or a Cancer.
Mm,
Just kidding. Just
mm,
kidding.
there is some, yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Um, yeah, it's not that we think that men are these soulless animals.
We
I
should
mean,
we should invite a man on this
we really
podcast.
do. We will
If
start
someone
interviewing
if
some
someone wants
candidates.
to,
Yeah, somebody
please
wants to
let
give
us
us a
know.
shout out, DM us, just text us if you already know us. We'll be happy to have you. Yeah, so
Yeah,
maybe we'll
but
do it when we're
anyway,
in London. We'll convince some of our friends. I think it
some.
can be done.
But anyway, sorry. What is the answer? Conclusion. I honestly don't have one in this episode. So,
I mean, I think our answer is that, yeah, people are having secret relationships and secret sex. I think it's a thing. Their motivations for it, I think our answer is like it's widely different. That's unfortunately the conclusion, I think. Well, what would you put it as?
as of like how I feel about it or what I think
How
Carrie
would you answer the
concluded.
question? Oh, I mean, I guess I can separate those.
Yeah, because was referring to Carrie's conclusion, which I didn't feel there was any.
Yeah.
How I feel about that? Well, there are two questions. So the first one, how many of us out there are having great sex with people we don't want to introduce to others? I think more than we think. And then if it's an ultimate form of intimacy or it's just another way in which you deny your emotions, I think it can be both, unfortunately. I think for some people it might be increasing the intensity of the relationship just because it's secret and
Right.
it's kind of forbidden in that way. Like we all know this desire when something is forbidden that you want to do it more because of that.
It's almost
At this,
biblical.
yeah. At the same time, I think you always deny specific part of him unless you're a psychopath and you have no emotion. I think you always deny at some point your
Yeah.
emotions and kind of try to suppress them or ignore it. And then some people can do it better than the others, which is, I think, why the messiness happens.
True. Okay, I think we have our conclusion. Anything else to add or any other spicy questions?
Mm,
I'd also just like to put it out there that Big said that a real first date is apparently dinner and a movie.
without the movie. Yeah, I mean, he is like, honestly, he should just not go out with Carrie. Like, he says one thing, which you would hope he will say, and then he will just take you to shitty place. And not even to the movie. Like, he gives these promises, and then he doesn't really stick to that. And I think, like, Carrie always hopes that, oh, next time it will be that, next time it will be that, and it never is.
God, I always feel
Because
like I'm guilty of that too.
she's so available to him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you're suggesting that Carrie gets a new hobby?
no, I think he just doesn't value her enough.
Yeah. Well, he also doesn't know her well enough.
I mean, like, compared to her other boyfriend that we will see later in the season, I don't know which one.
Yeah.
I think his name is Aiden. Like,
Yes.
that guy adores
I mean, there's
her.
Burger
And
too.
there are multiple, but I think, like, the two biggest were Aiden and Mr. Big.
Yeah.
And Aiden just, he wanted to, marry her and wanted to start life, and he was trying his best to compromise. I have never seen that from Mr. Big. Like, Mr. Big does his own thing, and whether Carrie is compatible or okay with that or not is kind of like secondary to him, which is fine. But I don't think it is a healthy dynamic you want to be in.
Right.
Uh, yeah. So I disapprove their relationship from now on. I don't blame him. I think it's just probably not the right fit.
So you're saying it was doomed from the start.
Yeah. I mean, they end up together.
Oh, yeah, I
Oh.
guess. I still haven't actually seen the rest of what's the new spin-off called? I forgot again.
No, it's not. It ends with us. It's something different.
No, I heard. And just like
Yeah.
that, that's what it is. And
Just
just
like
like that.
that. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen the rest of it. I probably should.
I haven't
Um,
seen it either, but that's, we should leave it for when we get there in like
that's
three
true.
years later.
Maybe 3 years later, we're clearly buzzing through these episodes. So if we're on six now,
But there are a
um,
lot. There are a lot of seasons.
that is true. That is
So
true.
much content. Oh,
We're still on
great.
season one.
Yeah.
Uh,
I like the season one. I think it's raw.
Season one, yeah, is very like raw original. There's clearly just still trying to figure things out, which I kind of love
And
about it.
also, she's wearing outfits that are somehow relatable. I think in like late, I think we are going off the track now, but
That's
in
okay.
later episodes, I think the style that or like the clothes that she's wearing, not relatable to me anymore. I can't
They're a
afford
little
it.
too
It's
high
as simple as
fashion.
that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, hey, the new dress and the fur coat are already like a bit of a stretch, but I mean, fur coat's fine, I guess.
Is it? Maybe this is a different question for a different podcast.
Maybe not in London, but but yeah, so I guess we'll be on episode 7 next week. I believe it's called The Monogamous. So that should be
Yes.
spicy.
I think it's gonna just continue about this discussion that Carrie or dilemma that Carrie is having in terms of expectations of their relationship, pretty much.
Yeah, she's trying to figure out her own dating rules and her what she wants out of the relationship, I guess.
I think she knows what she wants. I think that she's just not sure that Mr. Big wants the same.
Yeah, which is hard. Which is hard. All right.
Yeah.
Well, if
All
there's nothing
right.
else left, we'll see you guys next episode. If you have any feedback, questions, or if you want to be part of the episode, let us know. You know where to
Please.
find
So
us at girlsinthecity.pod, both on Instagram and TikTok.
yes. And
And
we
also
look
follow
forward.
us because we post our episodes and our funny reels there. So
Thanks for that, Elizabeth. All credit to you on that.
what do you mean? You do the story sometimes.
Sorry, I'm just starting.
I love it. I love it. Goodness. All
All
right. We'll
right.
see you guys later.
See you. Bye.